G'day guys, it's Jake here. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Please do your own research when it comes to investing. Please be sure to check out my links below, including exchanges I use and social media content that I post. Alright, let's go. Okay, so welcome to another weekly video on the stock market and crypto. And took a week off last week. I was a bit busy last week and I was in Melbourne and didn't have a chance to make a video, so I'm back home after basically another long weekend because Monday off today as well. So it's been, for me, 2 long weekends in a row. So I finally had a chance to make a video and hopefully this is well worth it and long awaited. So let's go over the usual topics. So first up, we'll talk about the fear and greed, okay, and Bitcoin specifically. And we're seeing right now, fear, 27, all right, so pretty bad. Finally down there again, much needed flush out of all the meme coins. It sort of escalated at the start of the year. We're finally seeing a de-risking of all that, and reality is kicking in, and every other market, not just Bitcoin, but all the stock markets are down, so all getting flushed out and cleaning up. It's sort of overheated slightly, so you can see this timeline here, and going back to February last month, and being on a downtrend, okay? So down at 27, we got as low as 10. So 27th of February, got to 10, and 15 on the 4th of March. So extremely fearful there. And if you go to 3 months back, start of the year essentially, and December 87, and we've been downtrending ever since. We got as high as 84, start of this year, okay? That was the highest reading we've got so far in January 22nd, and downtrending ever since. All right. Down we go with price, which is not surprising at all. And, in these low values, and we're in this extremely fearful area. And, it could stay in here for quite a while, okay? So you can see these areas here in the 20s in July of last year, all down there for basically not even a month, half a month, back up, back down in August, and we're sort of hovering around here for like a good 2 months or so. As you extend it out and out and out, it's like 2 months, okay, from here, August 6th to October, it's about 2 months. So we were in this area and sort of got out of it and then shot up, all right? But we can stay down here for very prolonged periods of time. As you can see down here in 2021, that was the bull market year. So the same post-halving 4 years ago, and we're down here for quite a long time, okay? It's going back to mid-May, to basically end of July, all right? So it's 2 month period. And you can stay there for a bit of time. Same as, except in the high risk levels for high risk greed for very, very long periods of time. As you can see in the last bull market there, November, going into the post-halving in 2021, and they were there for like 2 months or so. So it's 2 months on average, roughly, give or take. Depending on how you look at it, it can be very short and sweet, like this one, high grade levels, and then boom, that was the mid sort of cycle, midpoint of the cycle of the last one, and it shot down, okay? So it had sort of a spike up similar levels at 90 or so, I don't know exactly what the reading was, but it was up there similar to the period here, okay? And these periods are a little bit more prolonged because it was a different economic environment back then. We had a lot of money printing going on here, but now we're in restrictive policy, just like we had back here, restrictive policy, and it didn't stay there very long at all, and now it's shot right back down here. So it wasn't surprising at all to me, same as this period here. All right, it shot up to the 90 area, and then boom, back down. So very, very, very brief, short, and then down. You want to see change in policy for the Federal Reserve, set the course for the altcoin market and the rest of the crypto market, and obviously the stock market will do well as well. So it's a bit restrictive at the moment, a bit uncertain, and so the market's de-risking for what's going on because uncertainty around the economy in America. That's a fear and greed. Now the Bitcoin search trends were down, we're going down. Okay, 29 rating as of basically today. Okay, we sort of topped here November 64, and we're going down. The downtrending ever since to go down to 2004 to present. This is way, this goes back to the start of Bitcoin, of course. And here we are ticking up, but it's still very low on this metric. Okay. So 34, which was sort of at these levels last year after the election sort of thing. But it's just a little tick up. It can just come down. It's uncertainty yet, but it's sort of down these low areas. So it's very low search trends for Bitcoin. This is over the entire history of it. So you got to really zoom out. You compare it back to these periods. So it just grows over time. The interest of Bitcoin does increase over time. So this one's a little bit biased in the fact that the longer it keeps being a thing and it becomes more legitimate, it's going to keep rising over time, okay? So that's why I like to look at the 5 year. It's just a bit more zoomed in idea of just the short-term movements, okay? Shown from the past bull market we had 2021, got to 100, of course, there. And it hasn't been doing much. It's been pretty low and sideways, but it's down, okay? It's going down. It's trending lower, which is expected in this current market environment we're in. So look at the Fed now, the CME Watch Group. And the thing is with this is the next meeting is coming up 9th of this month, right? And the chances for a rate cut are basically nothing, 3%, right? So the rate's going to stay the same. And then the next month, or I should say 2 months later, in May, the next meeting, in May's meeting is a greater chance for a rate cut, a 31% chance. And we go to the next meeting after that is June, and 57%. And July is 43%. Okay, so the chances of getting basically the rate cut chances going at the end of the year as 1, 2, 3. 3 rate cuts are sort of markets looking forward to. But if you don't get the 3 rate cuts and it just ends up coming 1 rate cut or 2, then it'll be interesting to see what the markets do. It's hard to predict, very, very impossible. So it's just a matter of seeing what the inflation rate does, and the unemployment rate, see where that trends, and that'll give you an understanding if the Fed can cut rates or not. The more important thing I'm looking at is the balance sheet. Okay, the Federal Reserve balance sheet. That is way more important in my eyes to see the conditioning of the money flow in the markets. So any money that's lent to banks, if it's done in a big portion and they start buying bonds and mortgage-backed securities and all the rest of it from the banks privately, that will incur that QE is either began or QT is stopped. And I will pretty much don't do anything. When QT stops, there's no purchasing at all. They do purchase, they do start providing liquidity to banks. That means QE, okay, which is really bullish. And old Bitcoin pairs should bottom out around that time when that happens. They don't do that. They just stop QT and just stop the runoff and just don't do anything. Don't sell off anything. Don't buy anything. Just do nothing. Then we'll see what happens. It might be bullish for the markets. We'll see. But the rate cut probabilities say 3 rate cuts. But the more important thing to me is the balance sheet. So we'll go to the next one and look at the charts now. So we're in Bitcoin here and we're going down, down, down on the 3-day time frame. Go to the daily, which is today. And you can see a nasty daily candle of 6%. Okay, we're down. It's quite nasty as we shot up here. Was when they announced the strategic Bitcoin reserve and all that stuff. Well, Donald Trump tweeted about it and it pumped up to here and then dumped and then been going down. Okay, so it's just a pump and dump. If anyone tweets about anything, especially the President of the United States, let's take it with a grain of salt. Don't get too serious about it. It's just sucking people in. And market makers that love to fill orders and he's to wipe out shorters and then give them liquidity for them to short, and they can short after they've wiped out everybody else, yeah? And they come back down and wipe the longers. The longers will get wiped here, and they probably are right now. Liquidations will occur, and then they'll go lower to a level they're comfortable with. We don't know what that is. I've just drawn some lines on the chart, but you can see, it looks pretty certain. The next level that we're going to come down to, so I'll go to the weekly actually. I might go to the weekly and have a look. It's a bit more clearer. And it looks to me that this big wick is getting filled right now, which is very common in markets. Like to fill wicks, as there's plenty of liquidity lying here. The top of this 2024 period, okay, is definitely a retest for me. I don't know when it's going to occur, but it's going to come down to here. and retest the tops. The very worst scenario is this is the best scenario, the vertical. Okay, sorry, horizontal, I should say. Horizontal trend line. The worst case scenario is if Bitcoin goes down to the diagonal one. Okay, it comes in here. That's going to be like early 60s. Here, it's early 70s, of course, early 60s. And you want to bounce, okay, very quickly. Not a slow bounce, not a very struggling this level. And it just sort of hovers around here and really struggles. Then gets to the near towards summer and then goes up. Struggles. And you won't get a high. It won't breach these highs because it's really struggling to get up there. You want a big push, or that's worst case scenario. But I don't want it to go down there, to be honest. But it could implicate that we are in a left translated cycle, so we could peak earlier than we usually do. Or if we do, just test the highs. Okay, that could be the best scenario. And the bull market is still on, in my opinion, and we can make new all-time highs and head up to, wherever you want to go. 200K, let's do it, And somewhere around end of this year, I see that happening, okay? But we send it with a flush out to continue and just reset the risk levels, fear and greed, the sentiment out there, just everything, and then the Fed need to pivot, of course, for that to really a big push for Bitcoin to occur. If it doesn't happen, then Bitcoin could still go up without a Fed pivot, and the balance sheet could stay restrictive, and guess what? Bitcoin will be the winner. And all altcoins will be just bleeding to Bitcoin again. So you don't want that. As an altcoin holder, you want Bitcoin to underperform the altcoins. So that's Bitcoin's chart there. And it's just, look at the MACD, of course. This was predicted. Lower high MACD. This is going lower. Okay. This one's going higher. It's common sense. It's divergence, and that indicates that the price should follow the momentum, and especially on a weekly time frame, it's nice and wide, and it's on a bigger time frame. The probability of it happening is stronger, and it's following through as predicted there. Okay, so those divergences playing out. Okay, and if you go back on the 3-day time frame, it's my favorite time frame. You can see the risk levels right now are very close to the green now. So we're at 32 risk, but knocking on the door of this line, just about. And you want to see it nice inside this zone, between the green and the blue. And historically, when it does that, like here, you can see this period here, nice buying zones, okay? And we obviously went to the upside after that. You go back to the summer period in 2023. Look at this. You bought the bottom, just about. You go back even further. The very, very bottom was here, and you got the very lows. Here, you got all this period as well. Even this, if you want to count this. So you do get the bottoms. And even going back to the 2021 post-halving year, we entered the green here, as you can see, and we've got a nice buying opportunity for the second top. So there are all the different ideas, what you can see playing out. It has to happen at this level, in my opinion, 21K, and this becomes undervalued, and then comes down to here, of course. A wick is allowed, in my opinion, like a nice wick, and then continuation. If it stays in here for a long period of time, throughout the summer, or it just doesn't do anything for a while, then shoots up at the end, you won't get an all-time high. I don't think it'll breach this high at all. It'll be quite bearish. So just letting you know, you want it to happen nice and quickly. If it goes down the lower diagonal line, and then up to the races from there. So that is that. Okay, and that's Bitcoin. Just wanted to outline that for you. And on the other risk metric, I should quickly outline, we're at 46, okay? So this is the other risk metric, which I'm not going to pull up, but it's the bands, okay? The logarithmic bands. And we're at 46, but on the other one, we are at 32. So quite low on that one. So we'll see this one gets down to the 30 level. That'd be nice. You get to 61K. And that's right now. Obviously, the longer time goes on, these numbers go up, okay, because the bands increase. Good to see it in this early 70s there, which get you a 40 risk level, okay? So that's that one. And go to ETH now. Ethereum looks pretty weak, and broken this support line now, 2140. Okay, so that's pretty weak there. As you can see, it started there, had all these touches here and these wicks here. wick here. Terrible drawings, I know. Now we're breaking below it, all right? And it should indicate that we are getting to this diagonal, lower diagonal line. Okay, we touched it here, and a third touch would be nice to capitulation to $1,500, and then a nice shoot out of there. Okay, just come out of there. All right, this is the lows, in my opinion. It's the bottom. It could go lower to like $1,100, somewhere around here, which is the next sort of support line down here. You can see it's crosshairs here. But for me, the safe option is not to wait to go too low, especially going down to here. I don't think it's going down to the very bottom. Everyone will be calling for that. And when people start calling for that, it's not going to happen. Okay, when the majority think that, it's usually never happens. So you want to be buying before it reaches down to the level. 1,100 or 1,500. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I'm just going to follow data, follow what the Fed does, and it should all happen. Okay, it should all fall in place. Risk metrics, the MACD also is another thing. Waiting for the MACD, especially 3-day time frame is good. So waiting for a nice MACD cross, be good. Bullish cross, okay, to occur, something like this. It takes really quick, it could be bullish, man. Or it could just do that and then come back down again, and then bullish, and price could go lower. You understand? It could go lower, even though it crossed here, it could still go down to the bottom. And you have a divergence. So this would play out, something like a divergence would play out. Okay, this would be bullish divergence as price goes lower and the MACD goes higher, and then ETH should just go bananas. Absolutely just boom. You know what I mean? Hopefully we get a nice ETH run and it breaks the all-time highs at around 4,800, okay? So this is just a bit of speculation. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. ETH, but not much to say on ETH really. It's just going down. It's boring. Not much to talk about. But they're the things you want to sort of look out for. But really, go back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a barometer for everything. All the crypto assets, it's Bitcoin, all right? This is the most important chart to keep your eye on, and it's a barometer for everything. So ETH's very correlated to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin does, ETH will pretty much do, okay? It's the king for a reason. It's been around the longest, and it's time tested, proven, and it's got its own strategic Bitcoin reserve now. So it's all signed into law, and the government has already 200,000 Bitcoin, and it's the asset of choice for most people. Ethereum is the second most, but Bitcoin obviously number one. All right? So that is that. And you can see it. The reason being is this chart, he explains it all. All right? Bitcoin dominance is just going higher and higher and higher, and just continues to do it. It doesn't stop. Yeah. It's down here, it goes up, and it just continues higher, 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 higher. And there's never, The only rate it will stop, so I'll go in the weekly time frame, so it's a bit more zoomed out, is the Federal Reserve balance sheet, which I mentioned before, is the thing you want to look out for, okay? This is when Bitcoin dominance will completely top out and should go head down and be over and done with. This Fed balance sheet. An orange, I just put up there. So this is what the Fed do for restricting monetary policy. This is like the money supply, essentially. This is how they control the money supply. And it goes down. What happens? Bitcoin dominance goes up. All right. Pretty easy to see. It's not perfect. It's not like it's exactly correlated to it. It'll be too obvious, but generally in the long-term direction, until this keeps going down, this will keep going up. All right. Bitcoin will keep sucking out liquidity from the altcoins if this keeps going down. And if you want this alt season to happen, you want it to bottom, like it did here in 2019, and went berserk. All right, up to 2021 into 2022. Okay. And what happened to Bitcoin dominance? Well, you can obviously see what happened. It topped when it bottomed and went lower. And that's your alt season. That's what you want. If the alts do extremely well, it's this to bottom. All right, this is stop going down, and it can go flat and sideways, okay? So as you can see here, we had an alt season in 2017, and the balance sheet was just doing nothing. Essentially just going sideways, and we still had an alt season. All right, so it can work that way. So they can stop QT, and it'll just go sideways, all right? And that can still get you an alt season. That's a good thing. This balance sheet can just go, basically, just go sideways, yeah? All right. And then this can still get you an alt season. Sorry, and this would imply that Bitcoin dominance tops and goes lower, yeah? So either flat balance sheet or an uprising balance sheet is what you want to see if the altcoins do well. In the meantime, you just got to wait for this to happen. When this does happen, I will make a video about it, of course. But yeah, I'll explain it in a weekly video, and there'll be time to look into alts. They can still go down lower after it happens. It does mean it's the bottom. I'm talking about really the bottom of alts versus Bitcoin. So this chart here is what I'm referring to, really, is the bottom for this chart will occur. So you can see this one here in 2019. It bottomed exactly on the balance sheet, bottomed and went higher. And this doesn't go back very far, but yeah, it was flat, nevertheless, and it still went up. All right, we had the alt season. And the balance sheet started going down, and what happened? It topped and went lower. Yeah, went up as yeah, they're fairly correlated. It's directional. It's not perfect, and we're just struggling at the moment. We're seeing a stalling out period, and we're not at the lows yet. So I want to see this go down, and then I want to see it explode. Yeah, going into 2026. Yeah, it could go into the early part of 2026. Okay, could go into the bear year. I like to call it the bear year, but it's the midterm year. Okay, which is a bad year for crypto, essentially. And you see here it topped in the midterm year as well in 2022. So it can go into 2026. Okay, so marked out here. This has to bottom out first. If you want to get to the top, it has to go to the bottom. If it goes up now, I don't think it's going to go to the top. All right, I don't think it'll get there. So it has to go to the bottom first, and then to the top. All right, as we had in the past, and it's basically like a zigzagging oscillator. That's what it is. It goes down, up, down, up, down. And that's it. It oscillates. Okay, that's the best thing that it can do. Okay, against Bitcoin. So that's the altcoin market, and getting to the 25% percentage of Bitcoin's market cap. That's what it means. The whole entire crypto market, except for ETH. ETH's not included in this valuation against Bitcoin. Yep. So that's that. You got total 2, which is basically including ETH. So it includes ETH, and that needs to go to the bottom to as well. So that'll be 40%. Okay, with ETH included. So yeah, it's just those two want to bottom. You also want to see this chart bottom. This is basically others Bitcoin. I want to see this come down to here. All right, so still a long way off. About 50% drop from here, essentially to get you down to here. So nice wiping out of others will get you down to this box here, which is touched November 2017, when they pivoted in 2019, and also late 2020. So I want to see it come back down to here. Yeah, quite clearly, and then continuation up. And then you've got others basically outside top 10 against the top 10. All right. And this is smaller caps versus the larger cap alts. And also this go down the bottom. All right. It's quite clear. We pivoted here. And that was the bear market low. All right. And then boom. And these wicks here, all right, going back to not far off when they pivoted. They pivoted around here. So the balance sheet went up from this period. And this is when it stalled out and bottomed, and then boom, went high. So I'm expecting this box to be a bottom for the lower cap alts versus the high cap alts. Then you got ETH Bitcoin, which is another one. This is market caps. And Ethereum versus Bitcoin is nearly at the bottom. It's touching this box at the moment as we speak. But I want to see it deeper into this box, okay, to really get to these lows. And that'll pretty much coincide with this going there and then up. So there's those ones. You got USD dominance, and obviously double bottom played out as expected. Get rid of the balance sheet here. Whoops. And you can see it's bottomed out, double bottom, and going higher, which is expected. I was expecting this to happen because the MACD is divergence. Okay, it's very extreme divergence playing out, and it's quite clear. This is bullish. I do see it targeting the box, heading up here. All right, and then going lower. Get the alt season that we want. It'll probably take some time. See how the Fed goes, the pivoting process. It's all about the Fed, yeah. How quick they can pivot, how strong the economy can stay. If we get a recession, then it might just not happen. Okay, and we get no bull market. It's unfortunate. We've had a sort of a bull market at the moment, but hasn't been the one that we really desired. It's not the QE one that we all know and love. It's the QT one. So yeah, that is that one. And I do see it going to this box here. All right. when this curls down and goes lower. And that's pretty much it. We've got the stock market, and you can see the stock market has not been going so well. It's been going down as well. And yeah, so a dull top pattern, and we're going lower, and we're at this really close to this line I've drawn, and just nearly wicked it. All right, so that's that. And this is the NASDAQ going lower as well. So all markets are going down. Okay, the Russell, the low caps, 2000s, and it's below that support line I drew. Okay, it's down below it. And next level, I don't know where it's going to be. Could be these highs here. Essentially, these three peaks and this consolidation, these wicks here. We're nearly there at the moment, actually. So you want this to hold for it to be bullish, or it could go down to lows. I don't know. I don't know what this chart's going to do. I have no idea. It's too hard. It's too messy. It's mainly these two charts are the more important ones. The NASDAQ and the S&P are the very, very important, crucial charts to watch out for. I haven't drawn any lines on this one, but I did draw a line on the SPX, and it's this support level here. And you can go, look, you can go lower to here or lower to here. You know, and it'll still be a nice, healthy correction for the S&P. So still 12% correction and a 16%. If it goes below that, it's like 20% down here, down to like April 2024 prices. We'll be concerned about a recession coming, okay? But if it's just to here and it continues higher, it's no big deal. It's just a 12% correction. It's not huge, all right? So you want the stock market to do well, for the rest to do well. And the MACD is just, the MACD is really, really weak and struggling. You want that to cross bullish to go higher, all right? This to go higher, not that, you know, and not for the races. Very terrible drawing, but you get the idea. And that's pretty much it for the video, as far as we're concerned, for this week's video. Okay. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Just going over another weekly update. As missed that last week's one because I was in Melbourne. Sorry about that. But coming back, the market's absolutely getting brutalised, as I really expected to do. Pretty much priced in all the good stuff. The Bitcoin strategic reserve just happened this week, and it wasn't bullish at all. The crypto has went down, and it's been following that. It's basically it's not looking forward. It's just pricing everything in, and it knows that all the good news is pretty much from inauguration day to now. It was all talked about, the strategic Bitcoin reserve, digital asset stockpile. The other thing was there, and it's just pro Bitcoin people getting elected and all that, getting put into the House and senators, of course, too, being pro Bitcoin, most of them. So yeah, it's Republican takeover, and it's all priced in back in the inauguration time. So getting it, all this signed into law, the strategic Bitcoin reserve now, is sort of, it's people knew it was happening anyway. So it's nothing thrilling, exciting for the markets to really go higher. It's been priced in. Our market's priced this in advance. Price leads narrative. Okay, that's the ultimate thing you need to understand. That's why it's a bit confusing at the moment. And then if markets really do tank coming up this week, then there'll be a narrative to follow. It always is. There's always something to follow the price. Price leads narrative. So that's that. The fear and greed's low. The search trends are going lower. Sentiment's pretty low, okay? Even Twitter, it's pretty low. But yeah, it's expected. You know, there's not much retail here. It's quite dead. It's the Fed hasn't pivoted. We're restricted policy. You don't expect anything different. It's shit period. Okay, so it's not a good period to be in. But for me, I'm just patiently waiting, and then when I get some money up, I'll definitely invest in the market, and it'll be exciting. But my strategy is just about to tick, and it's not far off. Let me enter, but just need to wait for the Fed. All right, the old Bitcoin pairs, the bottom, the Fed to go from QT to ending QT or QE, and yeah, and you see these like price sort of levels I've set for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin at 71K roughly, Ethereum at 1,500. So these sort of price targets get hit, and alt Bitcoin pairs to really bottom out. And yeah, and basically the strategy to kick in the MACD to cross bullish, and risk levels, down we go. It'd be hard to mark the bottom. I'm not gonna nail it, of course. No one ever does. So I'll just keep you informed. And the good times are coming. I don't think a recession's coming. Recession talks are sort of happening now. I'm seeing headlines of that. And yeah, it's not sort of what you want to hear, but they want to create that fear to go along with the price. It's narrative following price, okay? So you don't want to get sucked in by these narratives. They're usually false. You don't listen to them. So that is that. And pretty much the video over the stock market as well. The stock market looks pretty weak, and this is sort of expected. And if you look at the options expiry times and all that stuff, and there's an options market that usually is weak between February and March of the post-halving years. So, yeah, it's quite common seasonality-wise, I think. Happened back in 2020, though. So that was a election year. So that was that. So sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. No, it's sort of comes and goes, but definitely that was another reason why I think is adding to the weakness of the market is the options expiry times and people offloading options and stuff like that. So yeah, so this is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please smash the like, comment your thoughts below, subscribe to stay updated. Sure, check out my links below, and I'll catch you next one. Cheers.